This is a TalkStation original podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Paper Boys Podcast. I'm JJ Smith.
And I'm Zack Nally.
We're doing our annual high school basketball previews, and we're doing girls basketball previews today. We've got West Carteret coach Lindsey Howell joining us. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Tell us about, I was going to say, tell us about the Patriots. You're going to learn about them as much as we are because we're just starting the season. But you, unlike some of the coaches, have seen them under the bright lights. Well, Friday night we started the season at Pamlico. Tough start for the Lady Patriots.
It was. We played pretty well the first quarter and a half, and then we played pretty well the last quarter. But we kind of went back into some old habits in the middle of the game. So that's something that we're just working on with these girls is really improving their play from season to season, and we're going to have to see a big jump.
Well, tell us about this year's team. What are we going to see when we see them on a Tuesday or a Friday night?
So we do have quite a bit of experience coming back, but we also lost a lot of experience. So I
know it's funny. You bring back a lot, you lost a lot.
Yeah. So part of it is that we've had some girls on the team that have played varsity for a number of years, even though, they came up as freshmen and sophomores. And so that has made a difference in terms of our experience. So we are a junior and senior heavy team. We've only got two underclassmen. One is a fifth quarter girl, Georgie Landry, is a freshman. And then we've got our sophomore, Gracie Kruger. Beyond that, we're juniors and seniors all the way. So it is a lot of experience, but it is also playing without those girls that graduated last year. And so everybody's finding a new role and having to step up into new positions.
Yeah, we'll start off with the ones you lost. Skylar Setzer, who was your top player. Ella Graham, who was one of your best rebounders. Maddie Steidel, who was top shot blocker and a top rebounder. Nevaeh Giosi. I mean, you lost a lot of post players.
Yeah, three of the four post players from varsity last year have graduated, so that's a big difference as well. So some of our we've got pretty tall guards. So Ella Holmes and Gracie Kruger and Gianna Sadusky, and they're all pretty tall for guards. But they're having to step up and play a little bit in the post, and so they're learning some new position work and they're learning some new skills. So it's a little bit of a learning curve.
What's it like when you lose like that Skylar Setzer, who for like 2 years was just running the show, and then all of a sudden she's gone, and it's like, that's a gigantic vacant spot, right?
Especially as a field general, right?
Yeah,
like there's somebody out there.
Yeah, anytime you're replacing a point guard, it's a bit of a jump. But to our to these girls' credits, Sky and she did a lot for us last year. But Addie was in the starting lineup. Addie Pavey was in the starting lineup last year, and Cheyenne Jones was in the starting lineup last year as well. Both of those girls have the ability to run the team as well as a point guard, and did it some as the season moved forward. So they're not without experience, but when you lose a point guard, it is a big learning curve for the girls that are coming in to fill those responsibilities.
Yeah, you lose your leading scorer in Skylar, but you bring back 2, 3, and 4 in Cheyenne Jones, Addison Pavey, and Ella Holmes. And Addison was a freshman last year, right? Or sophomore?
She's a junior this year.
Okay, sophomore last year. So she's kind of hit that level where she's going from underclassman to now really that junior senior when you're really starting to be the leader and starting to produce at a different level.
Yeah, the biggest difference is that she's got a lot more responsibility when it comes to running the team. Like she's the primary, or could be the primary point guard this year. So that's the biggest difference. It is a difference from year to year, but the bigger difference is the responsibility or the role that she's having to take on. So.
And we all know Miss Jones can drain it from the outside if given the opportunity.
Yeah, she had a really good start against Pamlico and then kind of went cold because they changed their defense on her. But she hit her first 4 3-pointers. Like, she didn't miss. And then somebody in the stands was like, is she going to miss today? And I was like, go! You jinxed us.
Don't say that.
This is your first game? So, anyways, then she missed the next.
Have you ever watched basketball?
She missed the next couple, but she played really. She started out really, really hot from 3. So it's very, very encouraging when it comes to looking forward to this season.
And you mentioned to Ella, to look at her, you wouldn't think, well, that girl's just a tear of the glass, but she led you in rebounds last year.
Yeah, she's such a versatile player.
Yeah.
I mean, she's such a versatile player. She can step inside or outside. She's hard for a guard to play defense against because she's so tall and so big. So she's kind of that utility player that she can make the biggest difference probably of any player we have out there. If she's going to have a good season this year, I think we're going to have a good season. Where she goes, we go. That could apply to a lot of these girls. But the other thing that we have to kind of get on board with is we've really got to be the kind of team that is willing to share the ball and it doesn't have to, if it's Ella one night, it might be Cheyenne the next night, Addie another night, Gracie, any of them could step up and be the leading scorer, and they've got to be there to support each other with that, because then we're going to be a lot more successful.
She had such a good volleyball season. Speaking of girls who had good volleyball seasons, look at me, I know what I'm doing here. Bailey Salter, who went from sophomore year barely playing to one of the best players on the volleyball team, and you say you see that transitioning over to basketball, the same thing happening.
Yeah, I'd love to see that transition. She's been a bit of a role player up to this point, and she's had a wonderful attitude about it. She's just put her head down and gone to work, and now she is the remaining post player, so we've got to see that same attitude, that same fight that she had with volleyball to come and apply to the basketball season. And so far, we've really seen her step up into those roles. So we're hoping that just continues.
Some other girls you got on the team, you mentioned Gracie Kruger, who also had a really good volleyball season. Kristen Braswell, who we kind of know from softball. Sophia Riley. These are girls who didn't play as much last year and are going to get moved up in the rotation, right?
Yeah, they're going to start seeing some more minutes. Players like Sophia and G and even Gracie a little bit, they are going to have to start learning how to play at the speed that the varsity plays at. And they had some experience with that last year, but they're going to get a lot more minutes this year. So playing at that speed and making those decisions at that speed is something that you have to kind of be patient with at the beginning of the year, because you can't teach that. You have to get out there and experience it and start making those decisions. So that's one of the things that we're looking forward to as well, is just seeing those girls find their way and turn that corner where they're starting to play at the speed that varsity needs them to play at. So.
And boy, you threw those girls into the deep end, starting off with the Hurricanes.
Yeah, we did.
When the season ends, I would expect that those girls over from Bayboro, the record is going to be very impressive.
Yeah, that's a strong team, and we've got Farmville Central next week, and we're playing Hoggard. Like, we're not shying away from anything. Now we'll see how all of those games go, but if each of those games is a learning experience and we get better from each of them, by the end of this, we should be a really good basketball team.
Will Kennan was in here earlier, and he said I didn't do Lindsey Howell any favors when it came to Farmville Central.
No, he's on my list right now.
As Tyler Childer says, he's on your biting list, right?
Yeah, he's on the list. But no, it's good. Like, if you want to get better, you got to play the best.
Yeah.
So.
And not only you, but other people have told me while you lost. What was the point total Friday? The difference? It was kind of one-sided, right?
Yeah, so we played them pretty even in the.
But people told me, despite that, people told me there were very positives to take away.
Yeah, there were a lot of positives.
Yeah.
Like when we were playing well, we played them pretty evenly. We had some foul trouble.
Okay.
And that forced some weird rotations and that kind of thing. But, I mean, foul trouble is something you can control. You got to play with your defense with your feet. You can stop slapping. So we got to learn from that. But if we can keep the rotations on the floor that we like, and we can keep the intensity up, there were definitely some takeaways from that game that are very positive looking forward.
Patriots go 13-11 last year, 5-5. They were third in a 6-team Coastal Conference. Started 8-2 and we're cruising, and finished 5-9 and lost 6 straight to end the season. And post-game interviews with Lindsey Howell were tough. He was like, "Man, I don't know what to tell you. Just repeat what I said last week."
Yeah, coaching high school girls.
Well, I mean, winning is fun, and when the opposite can be true too.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately these are all good kids that want to do the best for you.
That's right.
But they are kids,
Yeah.
and you have to remember that. And it's important that they learn from it, and it's important that we grow from it. And that, I mean, obviously we want to win games. I'm not the kind of person who just wants the participation trophy, but if they're learning from it, if they're growing from it, I'll take it.
Yeah.
You go 5-5 in that conference last year. Some changes, some realignment. A lot of the same faces, whether even from this conference or the Coastal from 4 years ago, 8 years ago.
Right.
How's the conference look going into it this year?
I mean, it's what our conference is probably known for, I guess, is that there's a lot of parity in our conference. There has been for the last few years. Some teams sort of rise to the top, but even when the team is quote unquote on top, the games are still dogfights most of the time.
Sure.
So I think it's going to be similar this year, and one of the things that's going to make a huge difference is who responds to that, who responds to those close games, and how do they respond to it, because that can make just all the difference in the world, because they do tend to be relatively low scoring games and very just aggressive defense and a lot of just tight games. So
Sure.
we'll see how it goes.
Speaking of parity, you all were last year. You were trying to become just the second team in school history to win 4 consecutive conference championships. And when you had that 3-year run, am I not remembering? Didn't one year you win it with like a 7-3 record?
Yeah.
There's your parity in the Coastal Conference.
Yeah, you're talking about in 2022.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's not a usual
Now,
conference champion record.
Now, is that the year where, with the surprise announcement there at the end?
Yes. Yeah.
With the,
when you cover the game.
Yeah, and again, you talk about, that's the first thing you thought of. I thought of when you said parity is, going into that, it was Swansboro White Oak, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and White Oak at that point was like, I don't know, 1 and something in conference play, but every game was close. And so going into that game against Swansboro, who was obviously a big favorite, they were doing well that year.
They were tied with us for first.
Yeah,
that year.
And I just remember thinking it could happen, because it's the Coastal,
right?
And sure enough, they did.
Yep.
That was a fun.
I remember you gave them the news, right?
Yeah, that was a fun night, and we've said the story before, but it was senior night. I found out that they had, because we're following online.
Right. And West needed to win, and they needed to lose, right?
Yeah, Swansboro needed to lose, West needed to win. For the tie or outright?
I think it was tie.
Yeah, it was tie. And it was Ella Graham and maybe T. Frazier. Maybe there was a group of 3 there on the side. It was Skylar.
Yeah.
Skylar, Ella, and I don't remember who the third one was. And I said, hey, by the way, Swansboro just lost a White Oak. They freak out again. I'm not used to working with high school girls, and so they make this, and it's a big senior night celebration. There's people lined up on the gym. Everyone looks over, and I'm like, oh my God, please hide me. And then I said, okay, well let's wait, and we're gonna tell the whole group. To get, no, you know what it was? They hadn't won yet. It was a really close game.
Okay.
They got excited about the prospect.
So
then we go out into the hallway.
Yeah, you said it was in the hallway.
Yeah, we go out into the hallway, and I'm like, do you mind if I tell? She's like, oh, I don't care. You can tell them all you want. I wish I'd pulled my phone out.
That was the thing. You said you'll always regret.
White Oak just beat Swansboro. You guys are tied for the wow, my God! It was it was a lot of fun to be part of that as a spectator, as a reporter. Yeah. It was really cool.
There weren't many nights in that season in particular where there wasn't at least one upset.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a dogfight season for the conference. It was. Yeah. Was that the triple overtime season? Yeah. So, you talk about
Zack texted me from the game. He's like, I just want to go home.
Well, again, it was one of those things where, 1 overtime, it's exciting. 2 overtimes, it's really... By the third one, everyone's like, all right, let's... I think the boys went back to their locker room at some point.
Not again.
That was fun.
Well, last year, you went 13-11, but there's a scenario where you go, I'm going to do math really bad here. 17-7, because 4 losses were by single digits.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of how we play too. We do kind of live and die by the way that we play defense. So if we have one of those nights where our defense is really on point, then we can upset anybody. And then there are other nights where we'd lose a couple of possessions, and that makes the difference in the game. So we're working really hard with these girls to make them understand how important it is to continue to play like a team and to focus the whole way through the quarter, every quarter, because each of those possessions matters when you're in those low scoring games. It's
so funny to hear you talk about defense like that, because most people say defense travels, defense always shows up, but it can be take it or leave it some nights, huh?
It really, it's teenage.
Right.
It's teenagers,
13 and 14 and 15-year-old people.
It's teenagers, right? Like if you can keep them focused and engaged, and they're doing it, they can win against they really could win against anybody if they're really working hard on that defensive end. So
Zack mentioned got a couple of newcomers. You got Havelock. It's so hard to tell with them in Northside, because they were in that big Carolina conference. It was a tough conference. Havelock went 6-14. They were 4-8 in that conference. I think they lost most of their top players, but Northside brings back most of their players, and they went 7-10 overall, 3-9. So I don't know. I'm just guessing Northside might be a team that might have to.
They're the ones I don't know the most about, because we did play Havelock in the non-conference.
Okay.
Like even when they've been in and out of our conference periodically, but we've continued to play them every year. So they're a little bit less of an unknown. Yeah. Northside is more of an unknown. When they were in our conference before, they were not a strong team, but they have definitely increased their basketball ability since they were there. And the boys team was phenomenal. It was the girls. It was the girls team that wasn't as strong. But if you develop a reputation for being a basketball school, you can get some players out to come.
Oslo County,
yeah, for sure.
Croatan returns after going 10-0 in the conference, bring just about everybody back. I'm assuming everybody in the conference is going to have them circled on
Yeah,
their...
I mean, they'll, just like we were after we had this season, they'll have the
Right.
target on their back.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
Pressure.
it's not a bad position to be in, but it is different than
Yeah.
when you're coming from behind and trying to, be the underdog. Is different when you're the one with the target on your back. You
Yeah.
get everybody's best shot. So.
And you mentioned earlier, not a lot of underclassmen on this year's team, right? Because you got a lot of juniors and seniors.
We've got a lot of juniors and seniors this year, yeah. And we've been able to make a JV team, but that's the other trend that is happening a lot in women's basketball. This year we have 8 games, because Pamlico they had to cancel their JV game. 8 games where there is no JV team.
Wow.
So, and that trend has been in other girls' sports, but basketball was a little bit immune to it. And this year we're seeing that
How about
big
that?
time.
And that hurts overall development.
It helps. I mean,
Yeah.
and not just West Carteret. Like
Yeah.
that, it's everybody in the county. Like Swansboro doesn't have a JV girls.
At a 3A school.
Yeah.
At a 5A school.
5A school, yeah.
Well, a school with like 1,800 kids, I think. Or
Yeah,
something.
well,
It's
yeah.
a huge school.
Can't put together a JV girls basketball team?
Well, I mean, I don't know I don't have any insight into
Right,
the reason
right, what
for it.
the
I
reason
just
is.
know that it's going to hurt basketball in this end of the state
Yeah.
if we
Interesting.
lose those JV programs.
Yeah.
So they're really important to
Girls
development.
wrestling plays a role there.
Oh, winter
There's
sport.
been some,
There's another
some
winter sport.
development there, and,
Yeah.
and, there's attracted a few more athletes. And who
Interesting.
knows? Interesting.
According to the coach over at Newbern, it was also flag football.
Oh, here we
Has
go.
made a
Oh,
difference.
That's true. There's a huge
Here we
flag
go.
football league.
So
going
that
on.
one has made a difference for him
Yeah.
at that school. We don't. I mean, that's not
Right.
necessarily. And then, I think people in general just tend to specialize faster.
Sure.
And so if a girl is a lacrosse player, she's a lacrosse player,
No
not
doubt.
not a multi-sport athlete or volleyball, or take your pick, right? So
Right.
we just start to see these kids wanting to protect themselves from injuries, which is not unreasonable, but then they're specializing and they're not playing multiple sports.
Which is not. Evidence says it's not great.
Correct. Well, I mean, the evidence shows that multiple sports is better overall
Yeah.
for prevention of injuries and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
developing an athlete,
yeah.
a well-rounded, yeah.
I'm a huge proponent of it, and we try to make sure our girls can play whatever other sports they want to play. We try to
Sure.
work with them because we don't
Flexibility,
want to be the program that doesn't allow a kid to do something else.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay.
Well, we're looking forward to a competitive Coastal Conference. I think a lot of games are going to be exciting, and looking forward to seeing what the Patriots look like this year. Thanks for joining us.
yeah, glad to be here.